So I finally did it. Screwed up my back. My powerlifting dreams are dashed. I have a competition I was prepping for that's in 2 months, or I guess a little under that now, 7 weeks. And I went from doing my hypertrophy training. I was gonna do 2 blocks of strength training mesocycles, about 5 weeks long, deload, another 5 weeks, deload, and then go in to the powerlifting competition, hoping to deadlift 500 pounds, squat, I don't know, close to 375, 385, and bench press, not quite sure, maybe in the 280s. But during my first week of training, I did my squats just fine, felt great. That was my last video, showed what I eat on a powerlifting cut. Got up to, I believe it was 295 for 6, and it felt great. And then bench press was going fine. Got to my deadlift day. At the end of one of my last hypertrophy mesocycles for deadlifts, I did 390, 3 sets of 9. So I was like, okay, I'll start out relatively easy for this, 390 for 3 sets of 6, and my plan was to each week, keep stepping up, go to sets of 5, 4, 3, then deload. So I figured that's relatively light, 3 reps in reserve, I could do it for 9. So I went in there to do the first set, got the first rep. It was grinding, felt like, to get it up, but watching the video, it came up pretty quick. But that first one, heavy rep, always feels really heavy. Dropped it, did the second one, then I did the third one. It felt kind of tough. Nothing was hurting, but I just felt kind of tight in my lower back. Then I went to do the 4th rep, nothing. So I was like, okay, that was weird. I've done 9, I only got 3. Maybe I'm tired, I try to evaluate what's going on. Took a little extra rest, probably like 10 minutes, came back, kind of stretching a little bit. I was like, all right, let's see what we can do now. Couldn't even lift the bar off the ground. Super frustrating. So I was like, I guess I'll just try to do some technique sets. I'll drop it down to 315 and, still just do sets of 6 just to still go through the motions, do something rather than nothing. Couldn't lift 315 off the ground, and it was like my body just switched off. Like, it wouldn't allow me to pull up. My nervous system, I guess, was like, dude, we're done. Not letting you do this anymore. I could not lift like anything hardly off the ground. I just left the weight sitting there. Went to the gym and still just did, relatively good back workout. My back wasn't hurting. It just felt kind of tight. I just did a bunch of chest supported stuff, pull-ups on the assisted machine and stuff like that. So I could still work out my back. I'm not just gonna do nothing because I couldn't get through my deadlifts, and even though it was really frustrating. But the rest of the workout went fine, got a good pump. Went to sleep, nothing really hurting. I was trying to stretch a bunch that day, but the next morning I woke up and my back hurt so bad. Like my middle of my lower back, right in here. And usually like it's the left side right above my butt that hurts and my hips are out of alignment. I wasn't feeling that. This was completely different. Like, it was so stiff and it hurt to stand up straight. I think I already had a chiropractor appointment for that morning. So I went, got adjusted. We were going to the beach to start filming this movie. We just got done wrapped up filming, and man, it hurt the whole time we were there. Over the next 2 weeks, like, I went to the chiropractor probably 4 times, even while we were at the beach filming. And I'd go to the gym a few times and just work out stuff that didn't hurt my back. And it was funny, like, it wouldn't hurt by the end of the workout, I guess, just stretching and moving. But the next morning, like, it's just so stiff and tight, it hurt so much. And I would be getting up and like couldn't even stand up straight. I'm almost falling over, then finally stand up, and after walking around for like 20 minutes, I got to the point where it wasn't painful to walk around, but just bending over and even picking up my kid hurt. Like, and I would try to squat down to pick her up, and she's only 2. And I'm thinking, okay, I was deadlifting 400 pounds before, and now I can hardly lift on my kid. This isn't good. And I'm just thinking like, oh, competition's in like 8 weeks. Am I not gonna be able to do this now? So I'm thinking all these things. I'm stressed out because we're doing this movie shoot and I got a ton to do. And I'm also thinking like, oh, I had this powerlifting meet coming up in 8 weeks now that I guess I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do or not, if I'm gonna be healed. I can't squat right now because I can hardly even squat down normally. Can't deadlift. I'm still bench pressing, so I'm working on that. But I'm just thinking, great, now what am I gonna do? And when it comes down to it, it's a powerlifting competition. It's no big deal. I don't have to do it. I paid for it. It was a couple $100, but whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna still keep working out, do what I can. It is hard to get motivated to work out as much when stuff's hurting, even if you're working out other muscles. And even in my bench press, I felt like I couldn't move as much because I don't know if it's just like not that I'm arching my back like crazy, but I could feel it when I lay down on the bench, and it's like my body won't let me do my maximum output of force because of that, since there's a weak link in the chain there, I guess. I don't know. But looking back on it, I guess I was just overdoing the deadlifts. Like watching a Renaissance periodization and a video about lifting heavy, and how even a lot of really strong powerlifters might only deadlift heavy like once a month because it's so taxing on your system. And here I am doing it twice a week hard, except for the times that I'm away from home. But even then, there's some gyms I went to that had barbells I could deadlift, and I would do that as well. But I was just constantly going, and then adding in squats to that, like that's still stressing your lower back as well. So every other day doing squats, 2 days later deadlifts, 2 days later squats, just I guess really taxing my lower back, and I went too far, and it just finally gave out. And it's to the point now where I can move around everything. I just walked 6 miles. I'm on a trip right now in Hong Kong, and nothing hurt, but when I'm in the gym, it's still like I'm not gonna do squats. I've been doing leg presses, that hasn't hurt, and to do legs along with leg curls and leg extensions. And then for my back, I've just been doing pull-ups, rows, stuff like that. And at this point, I was 185.2 this morning, so I'm about 3.5 pounds away from the top limit of the weight class I wanted to enter. Another powerlifting meet that I was gonna originally enter in June that filled up, I got an email saying they had some new slots open. So I went ahead and entered that one as well, so I could, maybe if I'm not well enough by this one, that gives me 2 more weeks to still try to do something. I'm not gonna do it if anything's still hurting. I'm gonna just kind of take it easy still for the next couple weeks, really let my back heal as much as possible, and then probably go back into just squatting 135 and deadlifting 135 for a week and see how that feels. And even with the deadlifts, not even go heavy all the way up until a competition. Maybe just start doing technique, throw in a heavy set every so often, because when I look back what I was doing before my last powerlifting meet, I didn't really know much about prepping for it. And when I did my back workout, I would pretty much work up to 1 heavy set of 5 on deadlifts, and then I'd drop down like 10% of the weight and do as many reps as possible, usually around 10 to 12. So then when I started the powerlifting prep, I wasn't like overtaxed on my deadlifts, whereas like I just got done with this hypertrophy mesocycle where I did 390 for 3 sets of 9, which is a lot of heavy volume and really taxing on your back, especially when you're doing it every 4 days with the squats mixed in there. So I think I'm just gonna go back to, I might do 1 heavier set, not anywhere near as heavy, but just to feel a little bit of heavy weight, then do a little bit of technique with the lighter weight. And just see what happens, and hopefully it'll work out. The cut's going well. I don't feel tired or hungry or much or anything like that. And hopefully make a comeback here. But I'm also not gonna risk throwing my back out again. So if it's hurting, anything like that, I'm just not gonna do it. But it would be fun to hit that 500-pound deadlift. After that, I probably won't deadlift for a few months and just focus on some back exercises leading up into the bodybuilding show that I plan on doing. But all that to say, be careful with your training. Make sure that you're being smart. For me, it's really hard to not just push as hard as I can every time, but when it comes to deadlifts, I think when I do start implementing them again, I might go heavy once every 2 weeks, and then probably do like 10 to 20% lighter than that for the same amount of reps, just to kind of go through it. But you don't have to go that heavy all the time, because my back is crooked. I got some x-rays done at the chiropractor, a newer one I went to at the beach, and my back is still pretty crooked. Hips get off easily, so that extra torque from being crooked is probably not helping anything in my back. I've got some disc degeneration between my lower vertebrae, so got to deal with that. I don't want to make it worse, and deadlifting heavy, even though it's fun, may not be something I do very often. So let me know if y'all have had any back issues from deadlifting. I may try, when I come back to deadlifting, doing some conventional and going a lot lighter and trying to strengthen my back more, since you use even more back with that. But we'll just see how it goes. I'm gonna slowly work back into it. Don't want to hurt anything, want to keep it feeling good, because it was painful. Even now, it's still a little stiff when I wake up, but goes away pretty fast. So I'll keep you updated on the progress as we get closer. Competitions in 7 weeks or possibly 9 weeks, depending on what happens. We have a baby coming in 4 weeks, so there's a lot going on. And if you want to follow that, check out Instagram. I post lots of stuff there of what's going on with my life and training and food and all kinds of stuff. So like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.